Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I'm your host, Colors Fade. It's episode 32. We need to level up the crew. We're going to start with the Dira. She's all the way at the bottom with this double one. She got all-encompassing agony last time, so now she gets perception and Medicaid. She's an executioner. We'll do Argenta next. Argenta all the way down here. Demolition and perception is what we said for her, but it's not lining up correctly. Let's see. What did she take last time? Oh, she's got some more to go here. Took demolition and flash fire last time, and then we haven't done anything for a while. Perception and better die for the Emperor for her is what I usually take. This is where things get a little bit difficult for me with Argenta because of her build and what kind of class she is. She is one of the only classes in the game. Really, the Arch-Militant is the only class in the game that I consider. There just aren't enough points for characteristics to make it as powerful as I want it to be, because they need ballistic skill, obviously, to shoot their weapon. They need perception so they don't miss people. They need it would be nice to have weapon skill because they're versatile, so they're going to be using melee skills. But you don't have enough points to put into that. Strength would help their melee weapon do more damage, and then agility would help them not get hit. And in the case of Argenta, you do need to put agility points into her because she's going to get a skill that's going to allow her dodge to not be affected, and she already took it, I think, a while ago. What is this? Second Skin, which we took a long time ago, which makes it so that her dodge is unaffected by wearing medium armor. But she starts the game with power armor capability. Only you don't get power armor until the very end of the game. And once she puts the power armor on, her agility doesn't mean squat. So she's really a character that if you want her to wear power armor late in the game, you're going to have to respec her. That's just the way it is. I'm going to take this moment right here. It says perception and better die for the Emperor, or whatever it said. Let's see. It took perception. Yeah, I'm not going to take perception. I'm going to put agility on her because she needs to not get hit. I don't know. I can't tell you how many times I played this character, tried to play her. And at this point in the game, and like in Act 3, you try to use her Arch-Militant ability. So you're trying to move her around the battlefield and get her to kick things and swing her weapon and shoot a single shot and then open up with her full wide open area attack and mow stuff down. But then she just gets nailed by the enemy and destroyed because her dodge is so much less than everybody else's. So we're going to give her agility. And then, let's see, what was the thing she took right here? Demolition and flash fire. So we're going to give her better to die for the Emperor. That's going to give her wounds when she is low on hit points. So she's going to get a lot more wounds. And then we're going to do critical versatility. The Arch-Militant gains +5 plus the number of stacks of versatility she has, % bonus to critical damage. This bonus is kept when the Arch-Militant uses cautious approach or confident approach, which is really nice. And then we're going to give her demolition and perception, except we're going to switch it up. I know the Excel spreadsheet says perception. I'm going to do agility for her this time. I want to see if I can just make her a little harder to kill. So, all right. In that case, we're going to roll over to Jai. And the last thing she took was Nerves of Steel, so we're going to give her Persuasion. And then she can take Ballistic Skill or Agility. I've got her down for Ballistic Skill, but she hardly ever shoots anything. So again, in her case, I think I'm going to take Agility because I want to make her harder to get hit. I don't need her sitting even in the back line behind cover. You've seen how ineffective cover is in this game. I just don't think it's worth it. And she rarely shoots her weapon. So it's more, survivability is more important for her. So in that case, I'm going to change her Excel spreadsheet here. And I'm going to say agility. And agility. All right. Now, who do we want to do? Juliet. Last thing Juliet took was heightened concentration. She gets lore, Xenos, and perception. Perception makes it harder for people to dodge her. incredibly awesome attack. Now we got Cabela on the sheet, and then Cassia. Great. Cabela. Last thing she took was Deep Laceration. She gets weapon skill and Medicaid. Cassia. Last thing she took on this list was Undam the Sea of Souls. So she gets Perception and Awareness. Right there. She is your finder. Pascal, my man. All the way down here. Last thing he took was Hunter's Ambush. So he's going to get Tech Use and Ballistic Skill. That's right up his alley. Okay. Abelard, who we've not touched in a long time, and again, he just kind of sits on the sidelines for me. I know he's everyone's favorite, but he's not in my party. I just don't use him after Act 1. So, counter attack stance, and then he took Chain Weapon Expert, so now he's going to take Weapon Skill and Toughness. He's going to take this characteristic training Toughness, give him even more Toughness, and then Resilient Beacon, which is critical hits, deal 29% less damage to the Vanguard, so keeps him tankier there. And then Athletics and Weapon Skill. Nice character. Heinrich's at this level. Last thing he took was Backdraft. We're going to give him Weapon Skill and Medicaid. And then my character, who's going to take Weapon Skill and Medicaid as well. Alright. That's it. Now, let's take a look at lay waste to Haruki's room station. You don't want to do this till way later in the game. There's a bunch of gene stealers. This is a really tough fight. You need your starship to be fully decked out for that one. On the hunt for knowledge, give the planetary data to Opticon. We're going to go see him. Wait for the situation to resolve itself on football. Reclaim what was lost. We need to go to Dargonis for that. Go to the Mundus Nellia system. Talk to the Master of Seals on Dargonis. Save Aldari survivors when we come across them. And then this is for your planetary projects. Sword shards for future use. Find the hidden caches on Dargonis and visit the Forgotten Twins. So that's pretty easy. There's a couple of contracts here, but we don't have the pieces for them. And we're never going to give away profit factors, so we don't have to worry about that. There are rumors here about different things, and some of these, in keeping with the tradition, or the, I guess not tradition, but in keeping with the idea of a rumor, not all of these turn into anything. So I mostly just ignore them. If they all would have turned into quests, I'd have been much more interested in tracking them. So what we're going to do is go back to Footfall. There is Porta Septimia over here. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look at something. I gotta scroll the Excel spreadsheet, and that'll cause the game to move way over. What is in Porta Septimius? I don't think that's anything that we want to worry about for a long time. Yeah, and it's 2 plasteel there, and then a warp gate that we have to ignore for now. So that is definitely no big deal. Yeah. Okay. So let's go. Not worry about that. We'll leave that for later. Lord Captain, the Lex mechanics assigned to the Astropathic Chapel are reporting a significant drop in our communications potential. This may be a consequence of the telepathic ritual in which your lordship deigned to participate. The enforcers report that the Choirmaster asked for an audience with Lord Captain and has since locked himself in the chapel, refusing to let anyone in. As brazen as the audience request may seem, I cannot shake the feeling this is a cry for help. That sounds about right. The Master at Arms reports a disturbance in the Foundry Bay. A certain Nemesite, an avenging figure beloved by lower deck rabble, shot the Commandant during a routine medical supply delivery and called on the vessel's serfs to fight for a better life. The rabble immediately plundered the medical storehouse and proceeded to smash other supply stations, slaughtering officers as they went. Nemesite has escaped, and the situation on the deck is increasingly spinning out of control. The Master at Arms asks permission to employ the harshest possible treatment, not simply restore order, but to avenge the dead Commandant as well as the fallen enforcers. Well, we're iconoclasts, so we're going to say comfort the exhausted people by giving them medicine and supplies. The unrest has subsided. While the serfs praise the rogue trader's generosity, the enforcers gloomily predict that the rabble will simply shed blood even more quickly and willingly the next time they find themselves lacking for something. We'll see about that. But let's go see about this astropathic chapel. Sounds like it's a cry for help. And we should go see about helping out. Way down here. The Astropathic Chapel. Let's see, what do we want for a team there? You're Liette. Do we want you or do we want someone else like Adira or Heinrichs on this one? She's very effective killing stuff, but the Astropathic Chapel isn't that big. I think I'd rather take someone else. Let's take Adira so she can buff Cabela and possibly set some stuff on fire. That would kind of be great. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at everybody's goods here. She's got this. I need to make sure everybody's got the proper amount of stuff, because once we get to the Astropathic Chapel, we may not be easily able to change it. Okay, you've got that stim. What's this one? Increase the user's resolve. Okay. I'd kind of like him to just have more medikits. He did need to heal quite a bit last time. And her. Yeah, intoxicating elixir. Might want to use that. Fire, and plasma. Toxin. You can actually use a medkit. That's cool. Okay, I want you to have this in case you need to throw for flames, but no, you're too far away. Never mind. Shouldn't be a problem for her. Abelard's not coming. She's going. These two aren't going. Okay. I think we're good. Astropathic Chapel. Don't take her. Let's take Adira. That may be unwise because of the warp here, but we'll see about it. Oh, yes, and it's instantly a little chilly. Ow. I have notes about this. I gotta find it. Alright, we have to touch things in a certain order here. Zachary Weisz. An unpleasant heaviness grows in your head, as if a vice were slowly tightening its grip on your mind. The Choirmaster is kneeling, his burnt-out eyes peering into the void. He raises his head, and you see a weary old man, weak and frightened. He whispers, "She is here. Adeline has returned. She is asking me for help. But you scare her. She is hiding from you. You will not harm her, will you?" From every direction, every shadow, comes playful, girlish laughter. At times, it transforms into an old man's rueful weeping, at other times into a deep growl of annoyance. The sounds form cold, malicious words. The sorrow will be eternal. The whispers keep saying we should kill old Weisz. They're just so giddy about it. I guess we shouldn't kill him then. The whispers never get excited about anything good. His is such a terribly wounded soul. It has all but sunk beneath the gray-blue blisters of guilt, and they are swelling ever so rapidly. The last silvery speck of hope could fade at any moment. What twisted creature are you? The mocking laughter of an old man turns into a moaning whisper. I am the victims. I am the murdered innocents. I am his guilt. How do I find Adeline? Adeline? She is there in the shadows. A tortured sigh escapes his feeble body. Many shadows lie. The true ghosts are hiding among the false ones. But I hear Thaddeus's earned prayer and old Stavros's words of disappointment. He's always doubted my talents as a mentor. I hear poor Antonius's scream. The scream he let out when he unwillingly gave up the last of his vitality. Annis's pleas. I condemned her to an existence as a half-machine. I can almost sense Evita's touch. She tried to save me. but she fell instead. So many voices, all condemning me for what I did. Find them, separate the true voices from the false echoes. I will find your Adeline and bring her into the light. The shadows croak hoarsely in an old man's voice. Why do you seek his redemption? He was always a terrible leader and talentless mentor. He doomed everyone. The indignant tremble grows into a roar of righteous condemnation. He was arrogant, having no notion of his own wretchedness. He did not put his faith in the Emperor, but instead believed himself to be invincible. The voice grows weaker. It is now a young man, soft and full of anguish. And he paid for his mistake with our lives. It was cruel and painful. The voice grows heavy with a metallic clang. We begged him to reconsider, but he took our minds away as punishment. The shadow's speech is now gentler and more feminine. But we were loyal to him regardless. Tried to save him even though he had not saved us. The voice becomes cold, resonating with sorrow from beyond this world. He is guilty. Well,
always keep your eye on the prize.
That doesn't sound good. But if we come up here, we have to touch this thing up here first. You are a failure of a teacher. You have taught them nothing. So we have to touch the southeast button. Southeast button. I got it written as a southeast button. What is this? What's it say here? I'm pretty sure this is the correct button first. So that would be the southwest button. I'm going to have to rewrite that. Now there's a person here. Who is this? I called to you, Oprah. So that's not who we want to touch next. We want to touch Thaddeus. We have to find him. There's Thaddeus. There's Thaddeus. Touch him second. Okay, and then we need to touch Antonius. Who's further back from Thaddeus. Antonius, where are you? Back here. Antonius. Touch him. And then Annis, who's found right in front of the Choirmaster. Touch her. And then touch Weisz himself. Now, Weisz, what do you got to say for yourself? The ghost stares at Weisz mournfully. The muffled sob coming from the apparition almost seems to take physical form as it drifts towards the Choirmaster and envelopes him. Weisz blocks your path, extending his arms in a gesture that both calls for restraint and pleads for mercy. Do not harm her, please. The poor girl is frightened to death. Let me talk to her. I cannot fail her again. I see. Touch Weisz's hand. It's not her. You cannot wallow in your own guilt forever. There are people out there and in here who depend on you. Living people. Weisz's expression is a mixture of pain, horror, and grief. He lowers his arms slowly. I know, your lordship. I know this is not Adeline, but an echo of the one who devoured her soul. I just wanted to see her again. Hear her voice again for a brief moment. With jerky movements as though shaking off shackles of ice, he picks up his staff. Ghost of my failure, now is your time to vanish. And just like that, that's taken care of. And I'm going to make a little note change here because it was definitely the southwest button. I got my directions messed up. All right. Weisz's breathing is labored. Thank you, your lordship. The burden was too heavy for me to bear. On the verge of fainting, he mustered the last of his strength to sit down on the steps. Weisz, are you all right? After a long silence, he says in a hollow voice, in a bodily sense, yes, your lordship. What was all that? A reckoning, Lord Captain. A reckoning for my great arrogance. Demons have been pursuing me for years, following my scent, sending me dire messages, hunting me. And now they have me. The entities that manifested here during the ritual were banished, but a lingering echo of their presence has latched onto the shadows. It has sprouted in the darkness and pounced upon my mind. Why are demons pursuing you? I am guilty. I wronged them. I had been promised a great future at the Scholastica Sacana, for my talents were exceptional. But fate would not have it, and instead of serving on Holy Terra, I ended up here in the expanse where barely a gleam of the Astronomicon reaches. My pride took a heavy blow, but my spirit was not cowed. I set about to assemble a choir unlike any yet seen here, a mighty, resident, astounding choir. Lady Theodora expended tremendous resources bartering with captains and governors to procure astropaths of my choosing. I brought together talents and budding geniuses under my authority. They were to ensure I would make a triumphant comeback. And they could do that for me, that team of brilliant astropaths whose talents were honed to perfection. Adeline, Annis, Antonius, every one of them surpassed myself as I used to be. I saw that my time was coming, and I lied when I told you it was Lady Theodora who had forced us to go through with the ritual. The idea had been mine. When, in her paranoia, her ladyship set out to find spies aboard the ship, I made her an offer, a ritual that would give her the names in exchange for my fledgling's freedom and my own. It was a good deal. She was willing to trade 7 astropaths for the names of traitors, and I doomed them all. My pride killed them. If you got your freedom, why did you stay on the ship? At first, Lady Theodora wanted to have me executed for what had happened, but then she regained her composure and graciously agreed to honor our deal. But where was I to go? My dead were all here. What went wrong during the ritual? He chuckles bitterly and scarlet stains bloom on his blindfold made of sacred manuscripts. Adeline was my ritual protector, only to become my greatest vulnerability. When the mad stream of other people's thoughts started to disorient my astropaths, I became frightened for her. I hesitated. I wanted to spare her, and I lost control. The right thing to do would have been to sacrifice her, but I couldn't. I had always had a soft spot for her. Her genius had made her my favorite. What about the other voices? Were they your apprentices as well? Not all of them. Stavros was the oldest of the choir. He had been on the ship even longer than I. Mighty, wise man, if acrimonious. He envied me and criticized my ambition, but I was fond of him all the same. Thaddeus was the ship's confessor. Theodora had insisted on his presence. When it was over, he was the only other survivor, and he confronted me with angry accusations. I could not bear to listen to him, so I silenced him. I killed him. Savicia was an ordinary servant. She fought the Immaterium's monsters until the warp began to prevail. She tried to save me, to lead me away, but I did not listen. She stayed at my side until the last moment and died a terrible death, all because of my accursed pride. The rest were my voices. Antonius was the youngest. He had been in the choir for only a short while. When the situation turned dire, fear got the best of him, and I was infuriated by his weakness. I dominated Antonius's mind and impelled him to use up every spark of his life force for the ritual. Annis's doom came even earlier. She was the one person who told me in front of the choir that the ritual was madness. In my anger, I ordered her servitorized. I believed I had to protect my authority. She died on the spot where you're standing now. I think she was still aware. More scarlet drops seeped through the choirmaster's red-stained blindfold. All my voices. I remember the name of each one whose life I cut short within these walls. And now I know the truth. That is for the best. I can no longer carry this burden alone. With Lady Theodora dead, the thought of my crime being forgotten, erased from history is unbearable. I want to be judged and condemned. You do not deserve absolution. Your service will continue. The choirmaster lifts up his blood-smeared face towards you. He says faintly, "You are cruel, but I bow to your lordship's will." After a moment's hesitation, the old man holds out his staff to you. Please take it. This mighty instrument is the last reminder of Adeline and the others of my guilt. It was with this that I performed the last ritual. I have no right to carry it any longer and would like it to be yours, a reminder of the painful lesson my pride has taught me. You get this. The detachment from death. Allies of the staff's wielder have their dodge increased by willpower bonus. That's nice. Huh. Adira? Can you wield that staff? I wasn't looking really closely. Let's look at date from newest to oldest. You can. Allies of the staff have their dodge increased by willpower bonus, and your willpower bonus is pretty substantial. It's +7. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to give that to you. There you go, sister. And she levels up. In fact, the whole team levels up. We can leave now.
I always have a backup plan.
Do you now? Not so sure about that. Alright, let's go to the bridge. That's taken care of. So let's level everybody up again. We leveled. That's so nice. We're going to level twice in this episode. Alright, my friend. Carnival of Misery. Oh, this makes it easy. Yeah. Let's see. Carnival of Misery, and what we want is Carnival of Misery 3 first. There's a couple of... This is all good. This is all good stuff. Carnival of Misery 3. All enemies in combat immediately suffer bleeding, burning, and toxin. The level of each effect is equal to the character's level divided by 10. So that's Carnival of Misery Upgrade 3. And then Carnival of Misery Upgrade 1. Until the end of combat, all toxin and burning effects from any source inflicted on the executioner's enemies ignore the target's armor and deflection. The damage of all bleeding effects from any source inflicted on the executioner's enemies is increased by 30%. So those are the two we're going to take. You can do number 2, which is whenever Carnival of Misery is used, all enemies suffering from any damage over time effects immediately suffer an additional instance. And then until the end of combat, all the executioner's allies are healed by damage over time effects of suffering damage. The number of wounds restored is equal to the amount of damage that would be dealt. So we're going to grab this one. This becomes so powerful when you pull it off. He's going to do Carnival of Misery as well. So let's do 3 for him. And for Adira, same kind of thing, because she's also Carnival of Misery. Alright, and Cabela should be, because she's same thing. Alright, now Abelard. What we got for you, bud? You have Unyielding Guard. Unyielding Guard 1 is what we're taking. Until the end of their next turn, the Vanguard cannot die. And until the start of the next turn, all damage suffered by the Vanguard is reduced by their toughness bonus. So, nice for him. Pascal gets Wild Hunt. We're going to take Wild Hunt 3 whenever the bounty hunter attacks exactly one target, which is marked as prey. With Wild Hunt, this attack deals 300 damage. So now you only want to start marking prey one at a time for this purpose if you're going to use Wild Hunt. So whenever he attacks exactly one target, just marked as prey. And that's going to be nice. And same thing with her, since she's a bounty hunter. Doink. So that's awesome. Now, Cassia, over here, you get Take and Hold, which I hardly ever use, but the maximum number of action points granted by Take and Hold is increased by 5. So that's her fancy ability where she chooses one combat tactics area, and every ally inside that area gains an extra turn with 1 AP and 2 MP. But now they're going to get a lot more action points, so that's going to be fantastic. I need to use that more often. Cabela's done. Yearliet's done. Let's see. We need Jai and Argenta. Jai gets the last. She gets this. The last volley. So, Jai, where are you? Orchestrated Firestorm, basically, is what you're getting here. That's what they call it. Orchestrated Firestorm. So the Master Tactician, which one is she taking? Orchestrated Firestorm 2. Orchestrated Firestorm in the last volley can be used multiple times for combat, once per turn. That's kind of nice. Orchestrated Firestorm being this. Master Tactician selects a 3x3 zone on the battlefield. All allies, including the Master Tactician, that have line of sight to any enemies inside the selected zone make an immediate single attack against a random enemy in the zone that they can target with their weapons. So I assume this works with melees. I've never used it, so if you got melee standing next to targets, you can do that. Argenta. She gets steady superiority, and I take 4 to start with. The Arch-Militant can use both the heroic act of the Arch-Militant archetype and the heroic act of the warrior or soldier archetype in a single combat. You can still only use a heroic act or desperate measures once per round. So that's done for those guys. Alright. So now we can move a little bit more. What we want to do is head for Footfall again, is what I was saying. So let's get down here. Footfall's all the way down here. What we want to do is look at buying ship parts, and we also want to see what other things might be happening on Footfall. Lord Captain, an urgent report from the vessel's shrine. A group of unknown assailants has invaded his temple and plundered the incorruptible relics of your ancestors, slaughtering devout worshippers as they went. The high factotum is among the casualties. Oh no. Had Master Montag and Mistress Sourback not arrived in time. Fortunately, Master Danrock survived and remains conscious, albeit in great pain. He implores your lordship to come to his temple, hear his confession. And so it comes to pass, Gabella says. I perform a reading of his tarot after the morning watch, Siren, but the visions sent by the Undying One were too indistinct. I saw rivers of blood flowing toward the bones of the dead, and a blurred figure, laughing, treading upon the ashes of the fallen. It is now clear. The Undying One desires me to follow the figure's tracks, and thus my hunt begins. So, we have these folks, trying to think of, do I want to take Adira for this, or do I want to take Yearliette, because she's got long-range shooting capabilities? I think I'm going to take her because I think this is a pretty spread out map, if I remember correctly. So this is a pretty chunky little battle here. Alright, my friends. Yearliette, have we managed to come up with any more weapons for you? Just curious. All the sniper rifles are at the bottom. Is there anything you can use? No, and you can go in here. Except I can't remember exactly how to do it. Okay, this is how you do it. Up here in the ordering, you can hide non-wearable items, so each character can only see the things that they can wear. So that makes it much more convenient. She's got this, what do you got here? Rune armor. This one, base armor property, plus 10% dodge if the wearer is in cover, plus 10% dodge if the wearer is willpower. Oh, that's not applicable to her. Okay. And then she's got this stuff, which she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have one of these. Or boots. The wearer gains plus 16% dodge against enemies under the effect of exposed weakness. You know what? You can have those. Unless, what's Pascal wearing? Oh, let's take those off. Pascal's going to get those. He doesn't have any boots. He's more... Oh, but what is this based on? It's 6 for him and 16 for her? It's based on a perception bonus? Oh, well, then you can have him. Give you a little extra dodge there. And then Pascal, what do we have for you? We don't have any boots. Whenever the wearer kills 2 or more enemies with a single attack, it does not spend all the wearer's MP. That's not really useful for him. Increases the wearer's agility plus 5 and athletics plus 10. That's not super useful for him either. He doesn't have charge, slash, or dance macabre. The wearer gains perception bonus dodge until the start of the next turn for each enemy affected by their psychic powers. That doesn't matter. Combat tactics don't matter. You can give him protection against warp, but he's already got that on him. There's Jai. You can wear this. Your persuasion is increased by 22, which is amazing because it's, what is it? It's commerce divided by 5. That's just awesome for her. That's fantastic. Okay. I think we're done with this for now. What is this other one? Increases the wielder's lore Xenos by plus 10. If the wearer is iconoclast adherent, increases all skills by 10 instead. That's the thing we need to see about this. Because she is what? She's iconoclast. So, what is this one? Commerce and Lore Imperium Carouse. Okay. And this does what? Lore Xenos. What is she? Her Carouse is 45 and her Commerce is 100. Let's do this. It should improve all her stats. What's it do? Increases all skills by 10 instead. Yeah, it did. It increased all of them. That's really awesome. That's fantastic. That's part of what lets her be the skill person she is. What do you have over here? Whenever the wearer suffers a critical hit, the attacker immediately suffers wart damage. I'm not so worried about that. I was looking at this. This could boost her awareness even further. But it is at 120 right now, so it's not like she's going to miss much. Okay. Attacks of opportunity. Yep. Hand stuff. What do you got for this? Ballistic skill and critical damage. Okay. Anything else? You don't really need awareness. Or toughness. What is this? You don't use pistols. Guy uses pistols, but she doesn't have room for these things because she's got better stuff to use. So I guess we're good. Let's go see what's going on here. Danric! The Master at Arms is barking orders. Confessor Adalbert is murmuring a prayer, and the Infernus Master is circling the chapel with a keen eye as if watching for a threat. Gabella quickly sweeps her gaze over the destruction before focusing on the bloody footprints that stretch from the ruins of the reliquary. The High Factotum's velvet coat is streaked with blood, and Janrus himself is deathly pale. A Medicae officer is working on the black gunshot wound in his chest, and Janrus grunts faintly with every touch. He focuses his eyes on you with tremendous effort. Forgive me for not greeting your lordship with a bow. I must tell you, Nemesite has stolen the great relic. What happened here? How badly is the High Factotum wounded? He's losing a lot of blood. The Medicae officer casts a worried look at you. I advise you to hurry, Master. Danrock should be on the surgeon's table as soon as possible. I am holding on, your lordship. Worry not. What matters now is that you recover the relic. The factotum groans as the Medicae officer pulls his blood-soaked bandages aside and shakes his head dolefully. Some miracle preserved Master Danrock's life long enough that he might address you. His fate now rests in the hands of the Emperor. May he show mercy to this selfless man. I see. Damn you, Jocasta. How did the renegades manage to sneak all the way to the upper decks? Sourback mutters through clenched teeth. They had help. We have discovered the hidden corpses of several chapel attendants. The traitors took their clothes and led Nemesite and his accomplices straight past the patrols. Confessor Adalbert ruefully shakes his head. They were good people, pious people. They never slighted a serf in their lives. Why punish them? His face grows darker. I swear that these innocents will be avenged. May the Emperor be my witness. Janus, what happened here? Serfs in red headscarves burst into the chapel and started shooting. Their leader made for the relic, the remains of the honorable rogue traitors brought here from the mutant-sullied crypt. And when I realized that the sacred ashes of your ancestors were about to fall into the filthy hands of a heretic, one intended on desecrating the glorious dynasty, no, that could not be allowed to happen. I blocked his path. Janrus briefly closes his eyes, gathering his strength. The old bastard allowed himself a few vile insults at me, which I am obliged to omit, but I did not give in to the provocation. I was hoping to buy myself some time. Then this so-called Nemesite started reviling the customs of the ship, berating its officers and enforcers, before insulting the very name of your lordship yourself. I threw my glove in his face and demanded a duel, but the honorless villain just shot me. He laughed at me, the depraved creature. And then he committed sacrilege by stealing the relic and shattering the sarcophagus. Forgive me, your lordship. I have failed to preserve the sacred ashes of your ancestors. The reliquary has been brutally smashed, and the bed on which the sacred ashes of past rogue traitors and their servants once rested is now empty. I see. Hold on, Janrus. I will not let you die here. Proud to serve the dynasty. Janrus' thoughts are becoming muddled. The papers, your lordship. Have the clerk double-check the freight bills. I did not have time to get the seals. My will is in the left-hand drawer. Heinrich, did you see the attack? I did not. I was on my way to offer a prayer when I heard gunfire and ran as fast as I could. When I got here, I saw Master Danrock, and I think the next thing I did was just to press his wound and spout curses. So much for being a heroic repairman. I wasn't much use, was I? I will strangle this Nemesis with my own 2 hands. May the Emperor protect you. The fat totem's eyes roll back as his enormous frame gives a convulsive shudder. The Medicae officer snatches a syringe of stimulant and speaks decisively. Apologies, your lordship, where we are taking Master Danrock away. He is unable to tell you anything more at the present, and every second of delay could cost him his life. Master Danrock is succumbing to his wounds. No. Heinrich watches the limp body of the factotum get carried away and chews grimly on the Eho stick that has appeared between his teeth. So, what do we have so far? Master Danrock is on his deathbed. All the attackers are either dead or have absconded along with the sacred relic, and the witnesses all agree on this one thing. Nemesis and his accomplices came out of nowhere and struck suddenly. Only the throne knows where we can find these bastards now. We will find them. Sourback's voice is full of terrible fury. We will turn this vessel inside out if we must. There is nowhere even a void rat can... There's no need, Cabela says. The Blood's Whisper will lead us to Nemesis. The Blood's Whisper? Did you perform another divination? Yes and no. His tarot guided me here and told me of the evil that lurked in the shrine. But beyond that, the bloody path carelessly tread by the raiders will reveal the truth. With all due respect, Spinner, the enforcers have already questioned all the witnesses and compiled an extensive list of evidence, none of which tells us anything but how or where the troublemaker calling himself Nemesis might have escaped to. Cabela, tell us everything you know. She sharply turns to face the crimson splashes on the floor and walls of the shrine. Her pupils dilate, threatening to drown her irises in darkness. Her expression turns distant, her voice becoming low and strange. This blood is drawn in a pattern of retribution. The one who spilt it appeared later. They moved swiftly and furiously, numb to their own wounds. An enforcer who was drawn to the gunfire and witnessed the sacrilege? Probably. As for this pattern, Cabela points to a barely visible chain of scarlet droplets. It was made in fury and desperation. The one who left it was wounded, but they did not flee. They fought back while they could, and then they retreated in the darkness. Cabela's eyes close and she falls silent. Then she exhales sharply and points a steel claw into the darkness of the maintenance tunnels hidden within the walls of the shrine. And you gleaned all of that from a couple bloodstains, or did you have a vision? There is no need for revelations from the undying Emperor here. For one who has dedicated their life to understanding the tenets of the web, death speaks a language clearer than any words. Blood writes the chronicle of the final hour, and it holds all the answers. It speaks to me. It can tell me with what instrument it was spilt, what its owner felt, whether they struggled in terror or were as cold as the steel of a blade, and what moment and how the thread snapped. For a spinner, no 2 wounds are alike, and each scarlet drop carries a message from the undying one. I'm glad she's on our side. Heinrich scratches the back of his head, smiling wryly. If the attackers have escaped through the maintenance tunnels, we can send in the enforcers after them. The technical corridors extend hundreds of meters in different directions. Nemesis and his men must be familiar with the tunnels and possess either a map or guide. Without a clear trail, the enforcers risk getting lost and wasting valuable time, not to mention the fact that those narrow tunnels are perfect for an ambush. So, we still have no idea where to find Nemesis. The tunnels only answer the question of how he left, and now death will tell us where he was heading. Cabela. As if in a trance, Cabela leans over a body and peers into its eyes. He stinks of smoke. The smoke of singed coveralls, vile eho sticks, burnt sacred unguents, and charred meat. She slides a pale hand along the dead man's skin and snakes it under the sleeve of his coveralls, which she pushes back to reveal a fresh burn, bandaged with a torn scrap of shirt. Her steel claws dig into the dead man's arm. Your wound holds the answer. You dressed it carefully, not inside the shrine. Before that, something struck you, ripping the tissue apart, burned you, turned your hand into a worthless lump. It was not fire, no. Drawing a ragged breath, Cabela opens her eyes. The fury of the conductive charge. It has marked you, heretic. I recognize your wound, for I myself have encountered it on those I take to the other side within the plasma drive chambers. Sourback, gather the enforcers. We will follow Nemesis' trail. No, Damonholt. You must stay. You are the one that Nemesis has challenged, and those we hunt know you by sight. You will frighten away the prey, and we will lose the trail until the next tragedy occurs. Cabela's unblinking gaze meets your own. So what are you suggesting we do? I will go to the plasma drive chambers alone. I will track down the false champion and all who served him, and I will prepare the grounds for your own hunt. Out of the question, Sourback says. An enforcer squad would certainly scare off the vermin, but I am not letting you go alone, servant of death. You and I will go to the chambers together, and together we will bring down all who have dared to insult the Lord Captain. I'm going too, Heinrich says. I have a couple of good friends in the plasma drive chambers. The nosy kind who know everything about everyone. Convincing them shouldn't be difficult, especially if I pull a few favors. It'll be the three of us then. What a company. There is an awkward pause. Cabela takes a long look at the officers' faces before finally nodding her assent. So be it, but not like this. Much like your faces, your guises are too conspicuous. Cabela's right, it would be prudent to use disguises. The enforcers will procure regular work clothes for us. We will carry only inconspicuous weapons that we can hide easily in our tool bags. It will help us blend in with the crowd. Before I depart to hunt Nemesis, I ask the Daemon to bless me. I pledge never to leave your side, yet the hunt demands that I do just that. Grant me this permission by performing the ceremony of twining. Cabela nods toward the altar. When your people have taken their leave, under the gaze of the Undying One, we will begin the rite. What is this ceremony? The rite of blessing for the sacred hunt. With it, the Daemon cast their shadow over the path of carnage. Under your benediction, I will strike harder and tread more softly. Very well. With your permission, Lord Captain, the Infernus Master and I will take our leave now and set out to prepare for the descent into the chambers. We dare not intrude, your lordship. Go then, and let it be done. Sit down, Damonholt, and listen. Let the ceremony of twining begin. Using a finely honed blade, Cabela carves an intricate symbol into the floor. She then produces a small bundle wrapped in incense-laden parchment and sets it alight. You are my Daemon. I am your blade, and I am honed by your blessing. My arms are strong while your will is strong. And as long as the Undying One hears your prayers, my feet will go unheard. Her blade kisses her palm, and dark blood begins to trickle and spread over the bottom of the ritual cup that has just now appeared in her hands. With our blood, with our will, we shall spin a scarlet web, the symbol of the hunt. May it herald our prey's demise. Cabela puts the dagger in your hand, and you suddenly feel how heavy your eyelids have become. Your heartbeat slows inside your chest. Her words linger, then rush through your mind in a deluge. The heavy scent of incense envelopes you and makes your head spin. I feel strange. What is happening? For the twining to happen, you must first expand your mind. See the unseen, hear the unheard. Those who live and die by the tenets of the web often burn sacred essences, and your body is not yet accustomed to them. Damonholt. Your mind is trying to grasp at its new boundaries. Do not resist. Breathe deeply. Learn. You have my permission to go on this hunt. Oh, make a small cut in your palm. The pain gives way to a burning sensation as Cabela grasps your hand and squeezes it over the ritual cup. But this new discomfort is quickly replaced again, this time by a dull numbness and the faint warmth of blood flowing from your open wound. The twining is the blood oath I have made to my lord. Cabela dips her fingers in the spilt blood and traces a symbol, first on her own forehead, and then on yours. It appears to resemble a blade that is cutting through an intricate knot. Anoint me with your blessing, Damonholt, and may the ceremony of twining commence. Cabela's face blurs before your eyes. No matter how hard you try and focus and dispel the vision, in place of her face you see a death mask, a broken skull with hollow eye sockets. I see strange things within you and without. The skull grins benignantly. You are learning to see what is hidden behind the familiar shell. Keep practicing, and years later you'll be able to see the truth even with your eyes closed. May your fury and resolve be unshakable. One who follows the thread of the web fights not out of rage, but with a mind as cold as stone. Nevertheless, rage can become a potent weapon in the hands of a punisher. I understand, Damonholt. I accept your blessing. Cabela thinks for a moment. Your body cannot accompany us on this chase, Daman, but your spirit. There is nothing the spirit cannot do. Twining is complete. You and I are now bound by the blood oath. Think of me while I hunt, and I will think of you. Become a thought flowing through my mind. If the Undying One is gracious to us, he will send you dreams, and in those dreams you will see me. If he is more gracious still, those dreams will be truthful. I see. Well, I trust you, Cabela. Let us begin. You perceive a faint smile from beneath the death mask. Cabela hands you the cup and begins tracing her finger around the bottom while whispering a prayer. Watch now, Damonholt. What does thy seeing eye behold in the converging patterns of blood? She draws your attention to the symbols she has inscribed. You see shifting images in the blood, a spider crafting a fine web, blurred shadows that could resemble either a swarm of void rats or an enraged hound, crossed blades, a card of the Emperor's Tarot. But as soon as your gaze lingers on any of them, reality bleeds through the fluid shapes. Soon your spirit will be able to follow me. I will bid the servants to carry your body to your chambers where you will not be disturbed. Wait in silence and safety. For me, the hunt has begun. Cabela's footsteps fade away, melting into the same impenetrable darkness in which your consciousness is extinguished. So folks, we're going to leave this here. This episode stretches on and on and on. We now have some stuff to do with just Cabela. She has a solo mission to do, so we will leave her to it. And I will see you on the next episode. As usual, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your questions and comments down below. I'll see you next time, and until then, happy gaming, everyone.